Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus full moon lunar eclipse for the month of March tarot oracle reading. And Libra, you are the star of this astrological insight. My cat Stella just discovered, she was sound asleep in the other room, but she's discovered we're doing a reading. So I guess she's going to be here for it as well. She likes to sit on my lap and purr. So her job is to raise the vibration by purring and being a good girl, right? Which sometimes doesn't always work out. But anyway, here she is. So if your sun sign is not Libra, we still all have a little bit of Libra in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is it in? That is where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. So I've already shuffled and cut the cards, but I'm just giving them another quick shuffle here. Keep in mind that this is a general or collective reading, and that means parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning that if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, then and just take a look back at what was going on in your life then, and it could give you further clarity to your situation now. All right, we're going to begin with the tarot portion of this reading, which is about 2/3 of the reading. I get the tail, and then I will clarify with my oracle for those of you that wish to have further clarity. All right, here we go. The underlying energy from the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is representing the energy of passion. So this is the element of fire, and this is the ace is a gift from the universe. We're seeing a lot of aces coming up in the readings right now because we're moving into the new. It's time for new shift to happen. And so this is a gift of passion, of a passion for new discovery, of looking at life from a different perspective, basically. And there's some astrological influences that are really influencing this, but we're just going to move through and see what happens, and then I'll explain them as they come along. All right, we have the Five of Cups energy. So the Five of Cups can represent remorse or regret. There's 3 cups spilt out of the 5 here. These cups generally represent romantic love, but they can represent love of others and love of what you love to do or be. So in these cups, this is like the crying over spilt milk. You know, there's not much point in crying over spilt milk. It's already in the ground. You're not going to suck it out of the ground, so you have to just leave it. Having said that, this energy here can also talk about, in romantic matters, that this is actually wine in 2 of the cups, and in the 3rd cup there's a different liquid. This represents an energy where there was 3 people in a relationship where there was only supposed to be 2. And so, this could be your regret and your partner's regret, whichever one of you stepped out, but not just the person that was having the extramarital or extra relationship outside of your commitment, that it could be their regret as well. And so what we have here is someone, like you could stand here for the rest of your life, and some people do. But the energy is saying the best thing that you could do is turn around and notice that there's 2 cups in the, my cat is just, okay, she's got happy feet. And when cats get happy feet and they're purring really loud, they can't control themselves, but you need to get a grip there, Stella. So, she's calming down now. I apologize. I'm laughing because she's so silly. This energy is, you could stay here your whole life, or you could decide, you know what, I'm going to be grateful there's 2 cups standing. Notice the 2 behind you and appreciate them. Walk down the path, cross over the bridge over troubled waters. And then, there's your castle. Now, your castle is half full, like half standing and half dilapidated. So that energy is representing, are you going to see this energy as the glass half full or as the glass half empty? Because that's going to be the difference in your outcome. You may as well take this gift from the universe and have a passion for new discovery. Your internal forces are what comes from within you. And you do have control over your internal forces, whereas the external forces come from outside of you. You don't have a lot of control over what other people say or do, that kind of energy, but you do have control over whether you react to it or you respond to it. And that's what this energy is saying right here. We have the King of Wands. The King of Wands has been coming in a lot in the readings lately. This is because the King of Wands kind of represents this energy that we're in right now, where it's about, revolutionary energy, looking forward into the future, and a true visionary. That it describes the energy of the King of Wands. The King of Wands is also considered to be the most sexy and charismatic of all the kings in the deck. And he's the kind of guy you wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers. You could forgive this guy for anything because he's just so charming. And he really is someone that's very likable. A lot of people enjoy his energy because he has a good optimistic outlook all the time about what's happening in the world and further into the universe, and has a lot of really amazing ideas. That's the kind of energy that, being able to think outside the box and see things like from a future perspective. And because he has his element is the element of fire. So this is talking about like the passion. So this could be representing your energy. You may be in this king's energy. This represents the Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo signs for sun signs. But anyone could be in this energy. We all have a little bit of every sign in us. And, you can see where is that in your house, and it will be reflected most likely more there. But we can learn from each and every one of the signs. So the element of fire is represented by this wand, and the wand is made of wood. It's also it's from a tree, so that's saying talking about the deep roots of our ancestors as well as our descendants, the offshoots. Also, the salamanders. There's a little salamander running here, and then there's salamanders in circle here with their tails, and there's also this line, represent protection from fire. So that this energy can say, that the king is smoking hot, and also, like you can see this figure behind. It's not. I don't think it's meant to be a figure. Maybe it is, but I just noticed it in the last 2 weeks, and like it looks like two eyes and smoke coming out of the nose, and then he's smoking something here. And as I said, this could mean he's smoking hot, or there could be, where there's smoke, there's fire kind of energy. So the king does have a tendency, the King of Wands out of all the kings, he does love to have, he's always looking into the future. So he may have a bit of a roving eye when it comes to his romantic life as well. So sometimes he's considered the most likely to be a player of all the kings. We have the energy here of reconciliation. So this is talking about reconciliation would imply that there needs to be forgiveness of something, and it could be regarding this energy here. The reconciliation of, you can forgive someone, and forgiveness is really for yourself. When you forgive someone, it allows the person that hurt you, especially if they did it intentionally, to accept the karma for that and accept the burden for that instead of you carrying it. And so this energy can be, the first step towards reconciliation would be forgiveness. But just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you want to reconcile with them. So reconciliation and forgiveness are a choice, and they can be separate. This card is saying, like, this can be reconciliation of yourself as a young child. When you first look at this card, it looks like there's two children playing with these potted plants, and someone's watching over them, and they're in the yard. But when you look closer, you realize, there's a lot of illusions in this card. And this card is coming up a lot right now because we just moved into, like, Mercury, which is famous for being the planet of communication. This communication is going retrograde, basically. So the planet, from this perspective of the Earth, appears to be traveling backwards, and it's infamous for causing problems with communication and also technology going awry and all sorts of weird shift happening, like when it comes to communication and contracts and that kind of stuff. So appliances that don't, you purchase them and then they're a lemon, that kind of energy. So, but the gift of the retrograde is that that a lot of past energy will come up in your life so that you can be in a place where you can take a look at it and put it to bed for the last time, basically. So it's kind of like the past comes back so that you can heal from it. And especially if it's regarding your inner child, that can quite often be what this card represents. It can also represent, people from your past coming in. All of a sudden, you haven't heard from them for years. And maybe you haven't heard from them for good reason because you didn't want to. But they're coming back in, and it's kind of like, again, a chance for closure. And so, you would have to decide what you would want to do with that. Now, the Six of Cups, why I say it's a card of illusion is this is these two children are actually a gnome and a little woman. And when you look, she looks really young from this side, but on the back side is an old hag. And she's thinking, like, she's being really polite, and this gnome is trying to hand her this cup. And the old woman, the old hag, is going, no way, get it, let's get moving, kind of energy. She's got her white glove on, and she does not want to get her hands dirty. And the younger woman, who's still a people pleaser, is like trying to be nice about saying, we don't want your cup. Anyway, the flowers in these cups are white, and white flowers in tarot represent innocence. But having said that, these flowers are actually from the nightshade family. They're datra. And datra is a very toxic plant, especially if it's ingested by children and pets. They could become very, very ill. And so you would never let children play with datra. And, sometimes shamans will use datra to create visions in their ceremonies for people. Having said that, they've been doing it since the ancient times, so they know the correct dose. And it's for adults, not for children when that happens, and from a qualified shaman. You wouldn't grow this in your yard if you have pets. They're very beautiful flowers. They really are. They're big trumpet shaped, and they bloom profusely, like they're constantly blooming. But you wouldn't want to have your animals and your children around this. And then when you look at the person who's watching over these children, you realize he's walking away. But it's okay because they're not children after all. And so that's the kind of illusions. This could say there's a lot of illusions in your childhood that your subconscious mind is formed when you're a child, and that's heavily imprinted on us. And it can really be a deciding factor in how we form relationships and romance and just friendships, etc. How we approach business, how we approach money, all those different relationships. So this card has a lot to say because of the retrograde that we just moved into on the 26th of February. And we're now going to be in that pretty much for the whole month of March. That's the energy. It's a great time for going inward and really looking into things. If someone from your past comes in, make sure that you really, take a good look. Is this, what is this really about? Make sure, because quite often, it's not the best idea. It depends on the situation, but just be very careful of that energy. Now is a good time for planning and looking into, researching if you're planning to do something, but it's not a great time to start like new activities with new people that you don't really know that well. Do your research. We have the hangman's hanging from the tree of knowledge upside down because he wants to gain a different perspective from all angles, because he wants to make sure that when he comes down from this tree, that the actions that he takes are going to propel him forward on his destined path, rather than limiting him and causing problems in his life. We have, yes, there is definitely, it looks like some heartbreak, and you notice there's 3 swords here. Now at first look, you think, oh my goodness, this person has 3 swords in their heart. They'll never be able to recover from this. But then you realize, oh, the heart is quite big and the swords are quite small. They're kind of almost like those cocktail swords, so maybe they could, survive this. And then you realize also, this energy can be talking about a lot of gossip and slander and that. And we have 2 swords and 1 driven in between. So this is like a couple with a third party involvement. The same as with this card here. And so I feel that this energy is talking about this energy here. A heartbreaking decision has to be made, and it could be potentially heartbreaking, or you already are heartbroken, and because of that you're making a decision. It's that kind of energy. We have walking away. Okay, so this is coming up a lot in the readings right now, and this is in great part. Now we have the new moon, the full moon energy here. So this is talking about, this person has 8 cups here, which can represent like a lot of energy, like putting a lot of energy into a relationship with someone that you love, or something you love to do or be, and you're now walking away from it, which means that, you know, whatever happened was substantial enough for you to leave after all this energy has been put into it. And you'll notice here we have 5 cups lined up really nice and neat, and then we have these 2, and there's a gap in the middle here, and this 3rd one. And so that can definitely represent an energy of a third party in the relationship, and you're walking away or your partner's walking away. Now we have also a new moon here and a full moon. So let's talk about the energy of the eclipse energy right now. It's really amazing what's happening on the planet right now, and I really want to bring that in too, because it feels like this is coming up. The new moon energy is, we had a new moon on the 17th of February, and on the 17th of February, that new moon was in the sign of Aquarius, and opposing that energy was Leo. The zodiac sign directly opposite you on the horoscope wheel has a huge influence on your life. So the energy of Aquarius is you need to look after the needs of the group and, you know, put them first. And the Leo energy is saying, look, I'm a leader, and I'm in a time in my life where I really need to look after myself. I need to look after my own needs so that I can express myself properly if I'm going to be a good leader. And so there's been this back and forth energy with that. On the same day we had that the new moon was, or evening, well, that day though, on the 17th, was the Chinese New Year. And we moved from the year of the snake into the year of the fiery horse energy. So that was a huge change. And then we also moved in, or had an eclipse on that. Like, if you can imagine all that happening on one day. And so the eclipse happened on it was a solar eclipse, which means from the perspective of the Earth, it looks like the sun has disappeared behind the moon for a short period of time. And that energy is like it causes usually quite dramatic shift in, it can be in the world and in personal situations. It's not something that's necessarily sudden, but it's kind of one of those things that catches up with you, because it takes about 6 months for the effects for it to be fully, you know, shown and then, you know, dissipating. And so this energy is talking about that energy on the new moon, and then the full moon that's coming up on the 3rd here. This is going to be in the sign of Virgo, and Virgo energy wants you to clean up your act, like clean up anything that's in your physical environment that would be causing you any health problems, any anxiety, any, you know, like just, you know, if you have a cluttered house, then you have a cluttered mind. And so it's kind of talking about putting things in order and making sure that you are, you know, things are cleaned up basically, so that you're ready when the new energy comes in, when you're ready to make a move, that you've, you know, you've looked over everything, and if things have come up from the past, you deal with them, and you know, be done with them, like one way or the other, so that it's off your plate, that kind of energy. And so this Virgo energy is opposed by the Pisces energy, which is right across the wheel from. And the Pisces energy is more dreamy and idealistic kind of energy, you know, a lot of emotion, that kind of energy. And so, you know, we've got this clean it up, and then we've got this, but, you know, being idealistic energy. But the thing is that Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Saturn. And Pisces, what happened is around the January, it was January 26-ish, that the Neptune, which is a very huge planet, moved into the sign of Aries from the sign of Pisces for 14, like it was in Pisces for the last 14 years, and it will now be in Aries for 14 years. And you couldn't have two more opposite energies. You know, Pisces is, you know, the senior executive of the horoscope, like the very last sign. Water, it's the most mature water sign. It's like Poseidon energy, you know, like that kind of male masculine energy in the element of, you know, the water. And then we have it moving now. Neptune moved into Aries, which is a brand new born baby that's in the element of fire, and needing to learn everything we learned about how we approach business and people and events, etc., in a different, looking at it from a new perspective, because now we're going to be in the Aries energy. And Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is a very aggressive planet. Aries is represented by the ram, and you know, babies come in head first. So this energy can really be talking about an energy of really rammy energy, like down your throat, kind of, it's my way or the highway kind of energy. And so that's the energy that we're in with this full moon coming up. And then on top of that there's another eclipse, and this time the eclipse is a solar eclipse. And so the energy, Stella, don't do that. You're knocking the camera. Stella, get off the camera. Thank you. You're making it wobbly. Sorry about that. It should stop here in a second. She wants me to feed her. She's going to have to wait. All right. So then we have this energy coming in. And so with this, the full moon eclipse is actually a lunar eclipse. So this time the sun is ruling over the energy and is going to, you know, shine light on this situation. Just a few days from now, the energy, I feel, is going to shift a little bit. So that's kind of what's happening with this new moon, full moon energy. And again, this is another eclipse that is, you know, like it really can have a huge effect on our energies. So let's see here. All right, so we've got the 10 of Swords here. And so this is saying that you were sabotaged in some way, and that's why you are walking away. This is what this is coming, or the person sabotaged you and walked away. This isn't like just kind of a little bit of sabotage. This is well calculated with other people, kind of, let's take him down and leave him on the ground here, you know, in a position of wanting almost basically to give up and be unalive. And this is talking about the energy of the eclipse here, and also the light at the end of the tunnel. This is talking about the end of a cycle and moving into something new, thank goodness. Now, this here is definitely really talking about this eclipse energy right now at this time. So from here, we have your identity and your self-image. Like, this is where you feel like, this is who you feel you are. And this is your abundance and your self-worth. And you're recognizing that there could be some energy that has come in from the past, and you may have just found out some information that about your family that you didn't know, which kind of changes how you feel about yourself. I'm just getting like it could be something that you didn't know, and now you've just found out, and maybe the other people in your family knew, but you didn't. So we don't really know. You would know if that's positive or negative. It could be both, but it's a change that you're going to have to deal with, the way it changes how you see yourself. And then this is the communication from early life. So I just feel like it's making you examine like everything you were told about your childhood. That's what I'm getting here. You're looking at it from all perspectives, and there's some heartbreak around it. So this is your emotional foundation. You feel like you don't feel like you got the truth from people, and you're upset. Like, basically, like, what? My family did this and I didn't know. This happened to me when I was young and I didn't know. That kind of energy. And then this is creativity, romance, and children. So this is talking about, your partner, or you walking away from your partner again. It feels like that kind of energy. And maybe somehow they knew, or they were involved. Maybe you've known your partner since they were younger, or your partner was involved in this sabotage in some way. And and you're like, what the hey? You know, like the what ifs will keep you up at night, saying, what if I do this and they do that? What if they did this and then now I have to do that? You know, that kind of energy. So we're going to see what are these external forces coming in. There is the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles is talking about, this is the only card out of all the Pentacles where it's actually about making money. The Pentacles represent health, wealth, happiness, abundance in the 3D, but it represents lifestyle. Because if you could have all the money in the world and still not have the lifestyle that you wish that you could be living. So this is talking about starting a project and you're already working on the second coin, or you have 6 to go, or you've already completed 6 and you're on the 7th and have 1 more to go. This is talking about you being hard at work, working on a project that you're very focused on, whilst this sort of energy was happening behind your back here. It's like sitting right on this here. And so the external forces are like when you're laying in bed and you're not asking what if this happens, you're asking what the EF happened. External forces, that's what happened. And as I said, you can't control the external forces, but you can control, your response or your reaction to them. And then we have the Queen of Cups coming in. So the Queen of Cups is someone who would be traditionally like in a traditional marriage kind of person, someone that has unconditional love for her family, her children, her friends, that kind of energy. She's got a lid on her cup and it's like a trophy. And this is saying that she's a container of unconditional love. This is the most likely to be in a traditional marriage situation. And this is actually in your marriage commitment and partnership position. So this could represent also your maternal line, like your mother and your grandmother and great-grandmother down the maternal line. Sometimes it does have that because it's that kind of very maternal energy. We have, so this card is talking about all the work that you put into here. Here's the 6 Pentacles here, and you have 1 left here. This is after you finish this project, it's saying, this is what I ended up with. Like you actually lost money here. And you're wondering, how is that possible? I put all this work into it. And how did where did the money all go? And that's the energy you're in. And this is about a transition that's happening. So this is the position of secrets coming out, and the secrets causing a major transition in your life. So, it's kind of basically what we've been talking about here. We have the King of Swords here, and the King of Swords is sitting on their throne, and they are known for being someone that uses their words to earn their living, basically. So either that could be written, or it could be someone who is a speaker, that kind of energy. This could be a writer, an author of books. This could be someone who is in the legal field and, is like lawyers. If it is, because it's a king, it would be someone that would be higher up in the law firm, like a partner. Someone that, a prosecutor, head prosecutor. This could be a judge in the legal system. There also could be, quite often, this could be a divorce lawyer. The King of Swords and the Queen of Swords are the most likely to be divorced of all the couples that show up, and quite likely to be a divorce or a divorce lawyer. And so this energy is talking, like the king is very much aware that words have power, and that words can be used as weapons, or they can be used to uplift people. So this kind of gossip and slander and that kind of energy can cause people, it can put them in this energy for sure. And especially when it's very calculated to take them down and do this to them. This can represent over a decade of energy, or someone doing this to you 10 times, maybe once a year, for fun. And then it can also represent like 10 people or even 10 groups of people, depending on the situation. So this is talking about this energy coming out. This is your higher learning position. So you're finding out now. We don't have a knight or a page coming in yet with any information directly about this, but you're finding out through the grapevine, I'm getting, what's been going on. And we have then this card of 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is talking about all these gifts coming in these cups, and each one has a different gift in it. So these are possibilities for opportunities coming up. Now, quite often possibilities will show up as challenges. And the universe wants us to put our energy into something. So these are opportunities that are coming up. And you're like a black hole here. And this is saying, like, you are the one who's in charge of these opportunities. You're sucking them in, and you're causing the spin. And you're spinning this energy, and so you can choose which one of these cups you want, and which order you want them, and what you're going to do with them. And the most challenging cups are the ones that are going to probably have the most possibility. But these were meant for you from the time that you were born, and they're destined to you by God and by the universe. So, but understanding that you are the center of this, you're the one who has to take charge of these opportunities or not take charge of them, that kind of energy. And that's in your career and your reputation, etc. Like that kind of energy. And the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Another ace coming in for you from the divine and from the universe. So you are going to find out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And this is coming in the form of blessings. The blessings can come in from friends, from acquaintances, whatever. But I feel like it's coming in from this King of Swords, who may be a judge, and there's something that was done. See, I'll explain that. Let's get the last card here, and then, okay, so there's the Nine of Cups here. The Nine of Cups represents something that you've always been wishing for, probably since you were a small child. And that could just be as simple as, I wish for love, and you could have everything going in your life, and then it all of a sudden went to shift, and you're wondering, what the hell? Like I didn't change, the energy was, I put the work in, what's going on here? And so I'm going to explain this in a minute. So this is having 9 of the cups, but not having the 10th. And quite often that 10th cup can be in this area where someone is like, and this could, this doesn't mean the king of Wands was the one who did the cheating. It could be that their partner was cheating, but it's that energy that you're in right now is the energy of this king, of looking forward to the future, wanting to move past this, but having to get through this. This energy is also talking about if you're wishing for something, it means you don't have it yet. And so this card is saying, stay focused. Like this, and this is, looking like this is someone, look at the cups in the opportunities in your career. And this is like about your reputation and your career, etc. And this is saying that this has been a big part of your life. Like your career is a big part of your life. And maybe you had to walk away from your career and your partner because of the energy of what happened here. Like it almost cost you absolutely everything. And this is talking about, but you somehow, you stuck to your path, and the truth is coming in to set you free here, basically. It's going to be it's probably a pretty harsh truth by the looks of things here. But this is the energy. And so now we have, you're on stage here, and you almost have everything that you're wishing for. And what you decide to do right now is going to, either keep you in the race or take you out. So this is saying stay focused. Many a person loses the race in the last lap. And so you want to keep your focus. Don't give up. Don't do anything impulsive and that you regret later, that kind of energy. Really interesting how this is playing out, because now when we look at this from the perspective of the energy of, okay, there could have been some illegalities here and there's actually a lawyer involved. We have this passion for new discovery, could be hiring a detective and then finding out, oh, not on top, it wasn't just about my work life. They also were had someone else on the side. While you were busy making money, they were busy making money, as in like illegal money, that kind of energy, and maybe implicated you in it without your knowledge. This energy, when you're hard at work, what's the saying, like when the cat's away, the mice will play kind of energy. And so this could be someone that you really trusted from your childhood, or it could even be a member of your family. There's a heartbreaking decision that needs to be made, but, and I'm getting, you had to walk away from these people, just had to end any communication with them. because you don't want to be implicated in their bullshit. And this could represent, like, this is a marriage commitment and whatever, but this could represent your partner's mother, is what, or your mother-in-law, basically, energy, being involved in something to do with this, or your own mother. But it feels more like, in this case, like, because it's an external force. I just feel like there's a lot of energy here from your inner circle energy. This is talking about, yeah, like, now you are going to find out what happened to your money, and this represents for sure a lawyer, judge type energy. The possibilities when the truth comes out. So, you know, when you're in a court of law, what do you say? I'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God, and swear in a Bible kind of energy. This is talking about, once this happens and the truth comes out, that you will have this possibility of having what you've always wished for. All right, so for those of you who want to leave off here and like, okay, that was a lot, and it was a lot. But I feel like this is really important, because I'm not even, like, there's even more here that is just so wild. And today it got even more wild than the readings that I did up to today. So you can be happy. I'm doing your readings a bit later because I was having technical and communication difficulties for the last 4 days. And I had to deal with my HVAC system and figure out what was wrong with it and finally get it fixed, so it would stop fucking beating it incessantly, excuse my language, throughout the day and night. And so we have it's fixed now, thank the Lord. And okay, so you know, if you have enjoyed this reading up to this point, please give it a like and comment, and consider subscribing. I would be honored if you did so. Okay, now I'm going to clarify with my oracle. My oracle is Tales from the Vector, and I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com. The cards that I'm using have pictures of or have numbers on them, which represent the paintings in the order they're presented in my on my website in the gallery. So there's 64 paintings, and some of them were really big paintings. I started this in 2007, completed it in 2020. I'm going to be putting in the description box below the cards as they appear in the order here. So if you want to check it out later, you can go to my website and check out what the paintings look like. And there's some information. They're each from a different part of the world or from the universe. And they are, the information is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. Now, the weird thing was when I was looking up all this eclipse energy, one of the things that came up is that on March 3rd of 2007, the energy was almost identical to this astrologically. And so, you know, it could have a huge effect if you look back on what were you doing on like March 3rd of 2007. It could give you a lot of insight as to what's happening to you now, or like give you some insight regarding your situation. What was going on for me back in 2007 was I started this oracle and then I completed all the paintings in 2020, you know, and I'm still working on it because like you know, I was teaching seminars and I was, you know, like I had a lot going on and they were really big paintings. So I really have enjoyed the process, but I'm looking now to bring it out. But it's so wild when I looked it up because it was right in March of 2007 that I started this oracle. And here I am in this eclipse season putting it together to finish it. Now, another date that can come up and be significant, and this blew my mind today, is in the year 1980. So in the year 1980, I was back. I left to go to Australia from Canada to go backpacking for 4 months. And I ended up staying for a year and a half. And I had, like, back then you could get really good visas. It was easier. Everything was easier when it came to travel. You know, you'd sew a Canadian flag on your backpack and you were good in Australia. You'd get treated like gold there. And I just loved Australia. So I wanted to stay. And if I left the country and re-entered after being there for 9 months, I had to leave, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks. So I went to Bali, Indonesia, and stayed there and then came back into the country, and I was able to stay for another 9 months. I left on the very last day. And while we were flying out, we had plane problems and we had to turn back. and landed in Brisbane, and I met some people and we went out partying all night long until I had to leave in the morning. And that was the kind of energy of then. But now, since I did my last reading yesterday, I was looking at what was going on in the news, and here we have the situation in Iran where the Shah has passed on, and this was implemented by the United States. And so it happened really quick and fast. And when Khomeini came into rule in Iran was in 1979, basically, but right around 1970, 1980, when we were having this, when we had an eclipse similar to this situation. And now look at how that has turned out. So that happened yesterday, or I guess last night or whatever. I haven't really had a chance to really look at it. But I mean, there's people in Iran like cheering in the streets, and like I honestly don't have a real firm grip on what all of that was. But I do know that that this person, Khomeini, was the ruler for like 50 years, like half a century almost, around that. And now that energy, like it's crazy that it's today, like this, in the middle of these two eclipses, where like right now when I'm doing this reading, it's the last day of February. So it'll be on March the 1st. And I think this happened maybe on the evening of the 27th. But that's another example, like, of this eclipse energy, like how it can have these really profound changes just around the world on a global level, as well as in our own lives. Plus, we have all the Epstein file information coming out, and hey, there's more people like that are being put to justice. We have congressional hearings right now. We have former presidents and first ladies being questioned. We have just an enormous amount of information coming in, and it's wild because this justice that hasn't been happening for like centuries in some cases and decades in others is now it's starting to happen. And so this is a huge shift for the planet. Also, another time to look at is in 1988. We had a very similar eclipse energy to this. And in 1988, that was my last single year. And by 1990, I had a baby and I was married. So, it's like when I looked back, I went, wow, like these three dates were absolutely significant for me. And now I'm looking at what on the global scale right now, what's happening. Very significant. So that, of course, if that's happening globally, it's going to affect all of us on a lesser level in our individual lives. I thought this might be really helpful if you're going through a hard time right now, because the eclipses, they call it, like, it can be a real challenging time. Like, it can be really, 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 really challenging. And then in the end, when you look back, like, later, you'll be saying that was the best thing that ever happened, kind of energy. But it takes, I just wanted, in case there's other people out there that are maybe feeling like really, really taken down by this energy, don't give up hope now. Don't get out of the race. Keep going. Now's not the time to give up. So we're going to keep going here. We have the High Priestess energy. And so the High Priestess energy is talking about the High Priestess sits next to God on the throne and brings in like the intuition, total intuition. So this is saying during this time right now, with the moons being so prominent, is when we have very high intuitive skills, use them. We have superstar. You are a superstar, and don't forget it. This is the year 2026. Is like you're going to start having more harmony, and maybe this eclipse is moving towards that. Sometimes to get to the harmony, we have to go through a lot of hardships sometimes. Learn things that we didn't want to have to learn, but that's life. This is having the courage and the strength to bring that up within you, and moving forward in integrity. Now is not a good time to be impulsive, and now is not a good time to judge people without the facts. Like, make sure you know what you're talking about, because there's a lot of bullshit out there right now. And so there's a lot of people whose names are named in these files and we have to be really careful to make sure that there's, that this isn't, there's so much AI out there. This is falling and failing in love is a matter of I. So this is when your heart becomes unfettered because you heal whatever it is that maybe is causing you to make bad choices in love, which can happen from our subconscious mind when we're a young child. And it could also be about reconciliation with someone. Now, this energy could be someone that is really good for you or not. But if they've left you in this situation, I would say don't even let them anywhere near you. We have the energy also of the hermit sitting on the hangman. So yeah, the hermit energy is when you climb the mountain and you go to the top, isolate, and you get your lantern full of the North Star energy, which is your destined path. You confer with God, you do your meditation, and when you're ready, that light is shining in the lantern, and that's the action that you take. And it's after you've really looked at it from every angle, and that's again saying, and keep doing that. Like if you're unsure, go inward and look for the answers within yourself. What is it that you really want? What is it, what is your goal here? There was some blind spots regarding this. This is the kind of energy where everybody knew but you, and they were all talking about it and laughing behind your back, and you were, you didn't see it. And quite often when it comes to matters of love, we don't see it because we love the person and we don't want to see that they are not the person that we actually thought that we had. The dissemination is, elephant. What elephant? I don't see an elephant. Eventually you're going to have to see the elephant in the room. I did a daily reading, and there was two of them that came up kind of in the last while. One was called Elephant, What Elephant? And this is talking about, it was quite a lot of information regarding this type of energy. And so, when you start believing in your own press, dissemination of information is when you start to talk about you start to believe what people say about you. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's not always true kind of energy. And then we have the lack of awareness. Never underestimate the power of willful ignorance. Yeah, this is the missed opportunities that have happened because these people that you thought were your friends and your family that cared about you were really after, and it looks like money. A lot of the times when shift like this happens, follow the money. It can be about power as well. So the magician is on this energy here, and so this is talking about being able to manifest. I'm getting that you're someone that really, you have a thought a second. And they're all good ones. So you can manifest at a very high level compared to other people. And it's an energetic upgrade. This is your energy, and people want it, and they want what you get from it. And they think, well, it's so easy for you. You'll just think of something else, I'll just take this one idea and it won't matter that much, that kind of energy. This card can also talk about making money, the external forces around you, counterfeit money, forgery, identity theft, using your name in ways that you didn't want it used, that kind of energy. We have worldly and otherworldly desires sitting on this energy here with your commitments and partnerships, marriage. So this can be sometimes if people give themselves total permission to go after their authentic desires, this can be on a soul level. So if you're with someone that is actually a soul partner that really wants that you're destined to be together to do good work, then it can be a really good thing. But if it's someone that just saw an opportunity here and wanted your money and your talent and whatever, it's not so good. And so we have transition on transition. And so this is saying this cycle is ending and the secrets are coming out, and they're not going to be the easiest for you to hear, I'm getting. But having said that, you knew anyway. If you really look at it, you just didn't want to know. And so, don't beat yourself up over it. Libra energy is when you are becoming mature enough to understand what commitment really is, having babies, what that really means, even getting a pet, dogs and cats can live cats can live 20 years. So when you get the kitten, you're not thinking, hey, 20 years from now, I'm still going to have this kitten. and it'll be a cat, and it'll be old, and it'll need, you know, like, so you have to really get to a point of maturity, and the Libra energy represents that energy and the scales of justice of having to have that fair exchange in your life. So pride, yeah, a lot of people, you know, people will do things because they want to appear to be, you know, they want people to look up to them. And so this can be about persuasion. And like my cat right now is purring, and purring can bring, you know, that kind of energy can be a very high vibration for healing. And persuasion can also be like when people try to persuade you into, like by using their words, you know. Words can be used as weapons, and they can be used as to uplift people. It's saying that these opportunities that are coming in are going to be, they're yours. That you are actually the center of your universe, and you have to decide what you're going to do with those opportunities. So don't be too concerned if it appears that you've lost, because the universe is sending you 100-fold new opportunities to be able to move forward. And it looks like the truth is coming out. You know, like the truth coming out is about putting you. This is the, if you're the King of Wands energy, and the Empress energy could be like this new partnership, or, you know, it could be a romance or whatever that you've been missing. Having someone that you can rely on. That's the kind of energy, and that is coming in with the truth. So it could be, you know, this can represent that you have a new love coming in, and this is going to be someone that you would be willing, like, to have children with, because they're going to be responsible, and they're going to, you know, someone you can trust. And this could be that last cup that you really absolutely did want to have. And this is, just saying, like, with friends like this, who needs enemies? So you've been swimming with sharks, and it's just saying you need to just let go of what's not working for you, and then also bring in what is, and that you're a powerful manifester and you can do this. It's kind of shifty energy, but it's also really good energy in the way that once you have the truth, it will set you free, and you'll be able to move forward and actually be the strongest version of yourself that you've ever been. I do hope this has empowered you, Libra. Please do give it a like and comment if you receive value. It really helps me build my channel. I appreciate it. And also consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. I would absolutely be honored if you did so. I will be back with another reading for you. An astrological reading will be regarding the middle of March. Bye for now. Yeah.